All right, we got a few more folks joining. Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. We're going to get rolling here, folks. No more procrastinating because I know that's why you're all here. Thank you and welcome to our Think Productive monthly Ninja Skills Booster. We call this a lunch and learn or just like a free little, insight to some of the programs we run. This one is all about procrastination. Think dust and eat frogs. What a weird analogy that is. I promise I'm going to explain as we move forward. Some of you recognize me. I've met a few of you in the past before. Welcome back. If we haven't met before, my name is Nick Aiello, and I work for Think Productive. I am a productivity ninja. At least that's what it says on my business cards. And it's amazing. And by the end of today, you are all going to be a little bit closer to being ninjas, especially around this thing we called procrastination. Think Productive. You've heard of us before. That's why you're here. We are a global training company. Offices in Canada, the United States, the UK, for my buddy in Scotland. We have offices in Australia, all around the world. And again, we are here on a work revolution where everybody loves Mondays. Truly, we believe that's possible. So let's get into it. We are here for a very specific reason today. Procrastination. Oh boy. What is it? Why we do it? How to fight it like a ninja? That's where we're going to be looking at for the next, 25 minutes or so. So let's just dive right into it. We have a lot of characters here, a lot of what we call our ninja characters. One of them is our human, not superhero character. Productivity Ninja is not a superhero, even though we may appear to be. So that means I'm not a guru. I don't have all the answers. I've just, done a lot of research around this stuff and gotten pretty good about it. But also that means that I'm human and that I still procrastinate from time to time. And I believe that's okay. Uh, Quick pulse check. Nods, thumbs up if you're on camera. If not, virtual reaction in the chat. How many are you going to admit it? How many of you are procrastinators? Anyone going to admit to it? Yeah, a couple of us. And the rest of us are liars. Sorry, but it's true. We all do. We all have to procrastinate from time to time, even ninjas. And I think that's a good thing. Hear me out. I think it's a good thing if we use procrastination wisely as an effective tool. I'm of the belief that we don't have enough time to get everything done. I also believe there is enough time to get the most important things done. So what I like to do is practice selective procrastination. And that means if I have to procrastinate on low value tasks, that means I'm prioritizing high value tasks. If we have to procrastinate on some things, we can't do everything. So if we're putting things off deliberately that are going to be low value or not giving you impact or worth your time and investment, then that's good. That means we're prioritizing the high value tasks. So thanks for playing along a little bit. Let's talk about it. This idea of what is procrastination. A couple popular definitions I'm going to show you. A delay in conjunction with subjective discomfort, very, wordy, verbose. The illogical delay of behavior. Procrastination is the action of unnecessarily and voluntarily delaying or postponing something despite knowing that there will be negative consequences for doing so. And maybe my favorite definition, and it's not even on the slide, but the best one that I've come across is procrastination is the gap between intention and action, right? We know what we ought to be doing. We know what we should be doing. We just can't get ourselves over that wall to start doing it. And I'm willing to bet some of you are procrastinating right now. I'm going to give you a minute. Right now. What are you procrastinating on? Let's take some notes. We're going to use this a little bit later, but just 1 minute, individual, solo activity. What is something you're procrastinating on? You're putting it off and you know it. There's the gap between intention and action. Write it down. We're going to use it in a moment. If you're comfortable pardon me, if you're comfortable and brave enough, please share it with us in the chat. We'd love to hear it. We have about 45 seconds left for just an individual kind of brain download. What are you procrastinating on? Paperwork and taxes. Yeah, cleaning, work, home, and office. We got till the 30th for taxes if you're in Canada. Cutting out a base for craft class later. Nice. Okay. Hello. There's two folks who have just joined us. Thank you so much. We're just in the middle of 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds left of a brain download on things that we're procrastinating on. So do a quick 30-second reflection. What are you procrastinating on? Mary, making doctor's appointments. Yeah, right. We know we should be doing this. It's often stuff that's important, but we just can't get around to doing it. Yes. Put your email in the chat, Mary, and I'll see if we can send you the video link afterwards. But thank you for the heads up. Cool. So why are we doing this, folks? Why do we procrastinate? Oftentimes in a lot of our workshops, we talk about our lizard brain. And our lizard brain is that hind part of our brain. It's called the amygdala, if we want to get into the neuroscience. And that part of our brain is in charge of our fight, flight, or freeze responses. And it views all change as a threat. Again, we've inherited this from our cavemen, from our ancestors, when there was actually things to fear, lions, tigers, bears, that's a saber-toothed tiger, I need to run. But still that part of our brain, again, when there's too much change going on, it's viewed as a threat. And sometimes starting a new project, tackling a task, dealing with your to-do list is viewed as change, as something that is different from the status quo. So it is sometimes viewed as a threat. I'm going to put down in the chat, there's 3 different types of procrastination. Not a lot of people know this. The first one is avoidance procrastination. And avoidance procrastination is usually rooted in fear of judgment. We're going to be doing a task that's going to be viewed by somebody else or a number of other people. You're submitting, a proposal to your boss. There is a first draft of a novel that you want to write that's due. Other people are going to have eyes on this work, and there may be critiquing of your work. Is it done well? Is it not done well? So this first type of procrastination is, it's the fear of failure. It's the fear of even success, but we know other people are going to have something to say about this work. And sometimes that can be so overwhelming that we put it off. We don't even get started on it. There's a second type that's called perfectionist procrastination. And again, a lot of you are on camera, but there's a little easy game we could play to see if any of us are perfectionists. And it's the finish my sentence game. You can play along even if you're not on camera. Finish my sentence. If I want something done right, I need to those of us who instinctively, thank you, Mary, for playing along, said do it myself. Hello, perfectionists. And here is what perfectionist procrastination is. It's when you can see the entire task done so well, so up to your standards that you don't know where to start, right? I can see the big picture. It's done well. It's up to my standards. I know how to get there, but I don't know how to start it. This is the source of all writer's block, by the way, right? If anyone's a writer, I've got a great novel in my head. Chapter 1. We want to do the whole piece so perfectly that getting started is sometimes challenging. The second A is arousal procrastination. Oh la la. No, not like that. What I'm talking about when I say arousal procrastination is some of us need an external stimulant to get us motivated, something that's going to force us to do something. The most common one we see for this is a deadline. Let me know in the chat or virtual reactions. How many of you feel you work better under a time crunch, under a deadline? This happens for a lot of us. And here's the thing. Yeah, okay. Hands up. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. Well, this does work, right? With a deadline, it helps to almost eliminate options. It eliminates choice. Well, I don't have time to do this and this. I could only do this. Here's the thing I'm going to caution you about. If we're using this too much, if we're using this as a crutch, is there still psychological, physiological effects with deadlines, like increased blood pressure, heart rate? It can often lead to fatigue and burnout. So something to be mindful of is how often we're using this, and if we're using this too frequently to motivate us. And I want to come back to this word because this is one of our other ninja characters, is mindfulness. And we believe that, if you name it, you can tame it. So if you start to see yourself in this habit of, oh, I'm putting this off because I know that someone's going to be evaluating my presentation, or like some of you did, yeah, me. I'm putting this off because, I have a deadline on it, or I want this to be perfection. If we can start to see ourselves doing this, we can start to get ourselves out of the cycle a little bit as well, which I think is really, really important. More willing to start with some deadlines, even if it moves. Yeah, okay, nice. So the subtitle of today is, again, Think Dust and Eat Frogs. And that's a weird thing, but I want to talk about it because it's an acronym. Dust. I love this. Here's why we put things off. We put things off if our task or our project is dusty, if it's difficult, if it's undefined, if it's scary, or if it's tedious, right? If our task is too challenging, right? It's hard, it's complex, it's difficult. That's why we put things off. If there's a lack of clarity around our task, if it's undefined, we'll procrastinate on it. If it's scary, and for me, scary means consequences, right? Your butt's on the line. Maybe other people are affected. You're being evaluated, or it's really important. Some of us had medical stuff in the chat earlier, right? Also, if it's tedious, or it's no fun, if it's boring, I don't want to do it. This is admin. This is paperwork. This is clerical. This is all that stuff that we put off. It has to get done, but we don't like doing it. Here's my tip. Dust is one of those great words, team, that is both a noun and a verb. What does that mean? How do you get rid of dust in your house? You dust. So if our to-dos, if our tasks, if our projects are dusty, let's start to dust them up. If things are difficult, how can we make it easier? My suggestion is to break things down into smaller bite-sized pieces. Is there a past example I could see? How do I make this easier? If they're undefined, seek some clarity. Who has the answers? Has someone done this in the past? Can you see an example? Can you get pointed in the right direction of resources? If this is scary, sometimes it's just about confronting your fears and being honest with yourself. Hey, why am I putting this off? Is this because it's important? That's usually a good indication of where to start. Is it tedious? Is it boring? How do you make it fun? Can you add a spirit of playfulness, a spirit of competition? I challenge you, teammate, to do 15 reports before I do 15 reports. I'm going to work on my taxes for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to have, a virtual coffee with a friend. Whatever that means for you. How do you make this task more fun? So go back to your challenge. Some of you put it in the chat. Some of you wrote it down independently. That thing that you're resisting, that real life thing. Why? Dust it off. Is that thing you're putting off, is it difficult? Is it undefined? Is it scary? Or is it tedious? Sometimes we add the why to make it dusty. Is it not due yet? The why is for not due yet. Sometimes it's due in the future. The future can wait, right? Remember in college, university, you get assigned an essay in September. It's worth 70% of your mark, but it's not due till Christmas. I would never start it early. right? I would always procrastinate and put it off until the day before it was due. Because I like that deadline. So 30 seconds left. What are you resisting? Is it difficult? Is it undefined? Is it scary, tedious? Is it not due yet? It's the boring part of making. It's doing the prep. Yeah. Nice. Great awareness, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. So here's the good news. We're going to give you some strategies, folks. How to fight it like a ninja. Because again, our whole belief, and this is in all of our workshops, is a ninja needs a second brain. Our brains are for having ideas, not for holding ideas. So how can we get things out? Again, you're doing that now. You started to write some things you're procrastinating out on paper, so we're not carrying it around. Sometimes it's also a matter of intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic motivation. Here's what I mean by that. Intrinsic motivation, sometimes it's just about getting started, right? How do we overcome procrastination? By building momentum. We do one thing. We get started. Even if it's, do something poorly to start. Give yourself permission. This first draft, I'm going to do it badly. There's always that bit of momentum that gets us started. A colleague of mine has what we call the salami slice method of overcoming procrastination. And if that means, if I were tasked to eat the entire salami in one sitting, that would be pretty daunting, pretty challenging, and maybe even pretty gross. But if I were to slice it and eat just one piece of salami, I could do that. That's manageable. And guess what? The act of doing things is forward momentum, is propelling you. So you'll likely be motivated to carry out just one more slice once you start to do things. Extrinsic motivation, help other people to force it out of you. Here's where I like deadlines. Not a deadline necessarily in my calendar, but maybe a deadline in someone else's world, someone who can hold you accountable. Again, if you've got that great epic novel in your brain, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your publisher. Hey, I'm going to have chapter 1 to you in 3 weeks. Let's have a coffee date. Talk about it. Now it's out there, right? It's in the world. Someone else is going to hold you accountable if this is not done. So I like that. Making public commitments that create the momentum. That's extrinsic motivation. And here's the second part of our subtitle. Think dust and eat frogs. Virtual reactions. Let me know in the chat if you know this analogy. This comes from Brian Tracy of eat that frog. If you're not aware of it, it's a really fun but unique kind of analogy. And it said if for whatever reason you had to eat a live frog as part of your day, you should probably do it first thing in the morning. That way, the rest of your day is going to be great. Nothing else is going to be that bad. Everything else is going to taste sweet. And if you have to eat 2 live frogs, you should probably eat the bigger one first, so it's not staring at you. Right? It's a weird analogy, but I really love it, of whatever that thing is in your world that's going to be the most challenging, and then again, often related to stakes and consequence, is going to add the most value, is going to create the most impact. Overcome procrastination by working on that first. Monotask that until a natural break or completion point, then move on to something else. But whatever that most challenging, most difficult thing is in your day, if you're working on that first before anything else, the rest of your day is going to be pretty easy. The rest of your day is going to go great because you've done the most important thing. Another way that I like to just get us going. Some of you have heard of this before, the Pomodoro technique. I'll put it into chat. There's a really simple one you can get in your web browser if you don't actually have it, a physical one, tomatotimer.com. And if you're not familiar with this is, again, kind of forces us to have some action. And what it works is this is 25-minute increments. You work for 25 minutes, you have a 5-minute break. You work for 25 minutes, you have a 5-minute break. You do 4 of those cycles, then you have a 15-minute break. Awesome. I'm getting some responses in the chat. Thanks, Mary. So I like this one of, again, just getting started, doing something. The Pomodoro technique works for a lot of us. I use it a lot for my work sprints as well. And sometimes, permission to go dark, right? Sometimes the things we get procrastinating on, we go down holes due to our tech, due to our channels. So we are playful around, our technology. You know, sometimes one of our characters are stealth and camouflage character, and that's about going dark sometimes, you know, unplugging, uh, eliminating any of the distractions that are going to assist in you procrastinating things. The work offline button is my favorite button in the world in Outlook. It puts a temporary delay on any new emails coming in. I will say you do need to unselect it before your emails return to you. So don't just say, the ninja said to go offline. No, no, no. Just saying temporarily to protect your attention. Then you need to unselect it. Where is the work offline button? It is under your send receive tabs in Outlook. Work offline. You can still be in your calendar. You can still compose an email. It's just going to put a temporary pause on email coming in. Again, I'm going to remind you, you need to unselect it before the email starts to return to you. And here's the big one, folks. Here's my big gift to you. I use this every day. Instead of starting your day in your inbox, like we just mentioned, start your day with a Post-it note. Deliberately a Post-it note because they're small. And then write 5 things on a Post-it note that if you were to do them today would have the greatest impact. What 5 things would add the most value or have the greatest impact on your day? Then get to work on number 1. When we start our day in our inbox, we're typically starting our day on somebody else's priorities. If you start your day with 5 things on a Post-it note, you're starting your day with your priorities. And again, you know, some of us are still coming back from our pandemic world. Maybe it's 3 things on a Post-it note, but it's the 3 things that are going to create the most impact. If you practice this and this alone in 1 year, if all you did every day was your most 5 impactful things, you're going to have a really productive year, even if you did nothing else. So that's my number 1. I say this to everyone that I come into contact with. 5 things on a Post-it note every day. Start your day with that. 1 minute reflection. We've been giving you a lot of tools, strategies. Make a couple quick notes of what you are actually going to do. And that is usually, hint, hint, a verb word, right? It's an action. If you are so bold, we would love to hear it in the chat, but you have 1 minute for personal reflection. How are you going to overcome procrastination? Just about 30 seconds left, folks. Love it, Brad. Good to see you again. First of all, be more diligent with your daily checklist, not start your day in your inbox. Amen. Right? That's incredible. Love it. Ah, that one resonated with you. The extrinsic motivation. Nice. Cool. Finish that last sentence, folks. Capture that last thought. Post it to-do list. Nice. If these have been working for you, if you enjoyed our monthly kind of skills boosters, we're coming back at you in May. Our newest one, we're really excited about this. How to influence like a ninja. Brought to you both in English and in French. English, May 22nd. French, May 29th. English with me, French is not. I will promise you that much. French is with our great en français ninja, Marie Geneviève. And you're never going to hear this in a training room, but bring out your phones. If you want to stay up to date with all of our skills boosters, you can scan that QR code. We'll give you a newsletter. And because we like you folks, we're going to give stuff away today. One of you is going to get a free copy of the best-selling book where all our workshops come from, How to Be a Productivity Ninja. All you have to do is fill out our little evaluation. And our evaluation, again, if you have your phones out, or I'll drop it into the chat. It's like 3 minutes, honestly, maybe not even. But again, your input means a lot to us. If you can't tell, I love what I do. If I could be doing it any better, I want to. So let us know if you took any value away from today. It certainly helps us moving forward. If you fill out the evaluation, you're in the draw to win that book. And again, we'll keep you posted on all our future skills boosters. We'd love to stay in touch. Let's be friends. Hit me up on the socials. There's LinkedIn for you. Couple minutes left. Happy to address any questions if anyone has any. If not, enjoy the rest of your day, folks. Thanks for joining us today. All the best. Take care. Yeah, you're welcome. All the best. Yeah, great. Still using the Todoist app. Tremendous. So am I. Brad, always good to see you, my friend. Cheers, Mary. Appreciate it. Okay, Hannah. Cool. I've noted that. Let me capture these. And Mary, I got your email as well. Happy to stick around, folks, if anyone has any more questions. Take care, folks. All the best.